Hello friends. Today we witnessed a major outage on the social media platforms Facebook, WhatsApp and Instagram. Not only was this outage for 6 hours, it was one of the major outage that Facebook had seen since 2008. And if I tell you the reason, you would be surprised. It was not a virus attack or Facebook taken hostage by some terrorist. It was simple release process. We call it BGP release. I mean, most of the IT engineers might know of. So let me give you a thought experiment to really understand what really happened. If you want to understand why behind these three giants being brought down. So for our thought experiment, let's assume that you would like to meet somebody in Facebook office. What are you going to do if you want to meet somebody physically in Facebook office? You will first look up the address, right? Once you look up the address, you will walk into the Facebook office. You will walk up to receptionist, and receptionist would be able to guide you, maybe tell you the floor, the room number where the person whom you want to meet might be sitting. And then you will just walk up to that floor and room and meet the person. Easy, right? But think about the fact the receptionist is not there. And receptionist is the only person who keeps the record of each room and each person therein. And because Facebook is internally also dependent on the receptionist, so each Facebook employee, or per se each room of the Facebook office, also talks to each other or coordinate with each other via the receptionist. Now the receptionist analog that I'm giving is similar to DNS, which is domain name server. That is how your browser goes and figure out what is the address that has been typed in the URL and how to reach it. I'm not going to go into too detail, but just to keep with a thought experiment for everybody to understand. So now if the receptionist is not there, what you going to do? Think of the fact that there is nobody else to give you that coordination. You will actually return back, and that's what happens with the browser as well. So it returns back. It's kind of returning you page not found or 404 error, which is very common in IT to find this error. And once we see this error, we understand that something went wrong or the site is down. Now, not only are the outsiders who are not able to figure out where to go, what to do, it's also happening with the internal employees of the Facebook, because they are heavily dependent on receptionist. They are also not able to coordinate with each other. Think about even the CEO of the company, Mark Zuckerberg. He is also not able to reach Facebook or talk to maybe multiple employees via browser channels or Facebook channels or their internal URLs as well. But why the receptionist was not there? That's an interesting question. So most of the time in the IT industry, we generally do upgrades, or we call it updates as well. And these updates are mostly done on PCs or software systems or VMs or whatnot. All the physical devices most of the time gets update, which is a software update or sometimes even a hardware update. Now in this particular case, the receptionist computer, or think of it like a virtual machine which is sitting somewhere in the data center, was getting updated. Now while this updation was happening, some failure happened. As the failure happened, the machine was unreachable. Now, like I said earlier, all internal systems also use the same receptionist. Because the receptionist was herself not available, they also need the receptionist to reach the receptionist computer itself. So now you understand the catch-22 situation. Now what the next step could be? They thought, why not to call somebody in the data center and tell them to go and reach to the computer, the receptionist computer, and maybe try to work it out. But here comes the other problem, which is our security, and governance model that says only the people who should have access actually should have access, which is the right model, right? To make sure that everything is secure. Now, because of this reason, anybody who is there at the data center cannot access the computer. So somebody with the right badges or right authority need to travel physically from Facebook to the data center and then fix the computer physically. Now, of course, now you must have understood why it took about 6 hours, because people might have to travel, they might have to take a flight to go right there to the Facebook office and get it fixed. But what about the redundancy aspect? Why was there not a redundancy built into the system? I mean, there could be some key questions. There could be resolutions to these matters, like, it's very much avoidable. There could have been ways by which this could have been fixed. But maybe because, this never became a bottleneck. It was such a easy update which always used to work. And they never thought that, they will be, logged out of the system itself, which actually controls the receptionist job. Anyway, friends, this might have given you a little bit of insight why this happened. And I hope this will not happen in future, and Facebook will take a right course of action as they move along. And I assume there are other leaders out there like Google, Amazon, and other giants, which would also make sure that, these small things should not cause a big outages like this. But thanks a lot, guys, for staying tuned, and appreciate. If this would have given any value add to you, do click the like button and subscribe to our channel. Thank you.